In the deep canvas of the universe, silence carries a weight that defies imagination. It stretches across endless distances with the patience of something ancient, something far older than the worlds orbiting their fragile stars. This silence does not merely exist. It observes. It drifts. It holds the memories of everything that ever passed through the cold light of creation. And on an ordinary night, that silence shifted. 3 listening stations, separated by continents, oceans, and horizons, detected the same disturbance at the exact same instant. Their readings dipped into a clean, perfect void for a fraction of a heartbeat. Not static. Not noise. A pause. A deliberate absence where randomness should have lived. When the stream returned, something else lived inside it. A structure shaped from the raw static of the cosmos. A pulse folded with intention. A pattern too deliberate to be dismissed. Tracking the source pointed toward a single traveler drifting through the solar system. A wanderer known as 3I/Atlas, an interstellar object that had crossed into the sun's domain from the dark beyond. Until that moment, it had been nothing more than a scientific curiosity. A shard of ancient ice. A relic of unknown origin. A visitor on a predictable gravitational path. But the silence that night hinted at something else. Something the solar system had never seen. Something that would reshape the very definition of presence in space. Deep, distant piano note enters. The stillness of the universe no longer felt indifferent. It felt aware. Before the anomaly, 3I/Atlas behaved like a typical interstellar object. Dusty, icy, reflective, carrying with it the quiet history of a world humanity would never see. Space agencies observed it with routine caution. Instruments measured its tail. Spectrographs studied its light. Models predicted its course with unwavering certainty. Then came October 12, 2025. High in the Atacama Desert, where air thins into crystal clarity, a listening array captured a pattern that defied every principle of natural astrophysics. It was faint, buried in cosmic noise, yet unmistakably structured with precision that bordered on elegance. Its timing matched no cosmic event recorded before. Its symmetry resisted random interpretation. Its architecture mirrored something familiar, something human. Months earlier, NASA had sent a standard radar ping toward 3I/Atlas. A routine mapping pulse. A practice used 1,000 times on countless bodies. Never once expecting a coherent response. Yet the faint signal captured in the desert carried the same structural backbone as that outgoing radar pulse. Altered, softened, distorted by cosmic travel, yet undeniably related. It resembled not an echo, but an imitation. As if something near the object had received the original pulse, interpreted it, and attempted to reconstruct its shape. This was no reflection, no scattering of particles. No trick of light or magnetism. It felt like an answer. The data passed through hands that trembled more from disbelief than fear. Comets do not imitate human technology. Ice does not shape waveforms. Rock does not respond with intelligence. Yet something associated with 3I/Atlas had done exactly that. The universe, for the first time, seemed to exhale with intent. Over the next 72 hours, the behavior of the interstellar object changed in ways no natural body should be capable of. Trajectory logs revealed a gradual, controlled deceleration. Not abrupt, not chaotic, measured. Celestial objects slow only through gravitational resistance or catastrophic fragmentation. But 3I/Atlas slowed with a grace that suggested adjustment rather than decay. As if responding to a calculation only it understood. This alone would have fractured scientific expectations. But then came the second anomaly. As the object drifted past Mars, the high-rise camera, floating silently above the red planet, captured a faint pulse of light emerging from the region near the traveler. It was soft, barely visible, yet rhythmic with uncanny precision. Brightening, dimming, brightening. repeating every 11 seconds. The exact spacing of NASA's original radar pulse. Coincidence dissolved on contact. No comet adopts the timing of human radar scans. No natural body mimics the cadence of engineered signals. Then the rhythm changed. Not randomly, but with a sense of progression. A modulation entered the pulse, bending its structure around patterns used in early human communication systems. Not a perfect reconstruction, but an attempt. A learning curve expressed through light. It was as though something out there was studying the architecture of the signals it had received, shaping its own expression around familiarity. The universe had never felt more alive. On November 3rd, shortly after 3 a.m, the next anomaly arrived. A short, fragile burst of energy swept across deep space receivers. It carried a recursive internal pattern, a fractal-like formation shaped from repeating harmonics, structured with the quiet elegance of prime number spacing. Prime patterns had long been considered universal markers of intention, a cosmological handshake, a sign that something possessed the capacity to grasp abstraction. But the burst did not repeat a full sequence. It imitated only the harmonic structure embedded within NASA's radar ping, as though copying a language without understanding the grammar. Not a message. Not information. Something closer to acknowledgement. A recognition of pattern. Then, without warning, 3I/Atlas changed its trajectory again. This time with clarity so unmistakable that every explanation rooted in natural physics collapsed. The object shifted into a line between Earth and the Sun, an alignment used by communication systems seeking optimal energy paths. The behavior resembled intention. The movement resembled strategy. The object's existence resembled awareness. Institutions monitoring the phenomenon restricted access. Internal channels went silent. Observatories entered blackout protocols. The solar system had revealed something no one was prepared to confront. Hours later, another transmission arrived. Softer than the first. Gentler. As though the phenomenon had calibrated itself carefully, attempting to match the sensitivity of Earth's instruments. Inside the signal lived a modulation unlike any seen in natural astrophysics. A structured curve of energy. A rhythmic spacing that hinted at iteration. A subtle progression from the earlier pattern. Not language. Not symbols. A shaping of meaning expressed through pure structure. This was not communication. This was contact at its earliest stage. Raw, instinctive, learning. Something near 3I/Atlas was responding with increasing refinement. Not mimicking. Not repeating. Evolving. Every harmonic showed progression. Every pulse carried adaptation. Every modulation hinted at awareness reaching outward in the only form it understood. The universe, once silent, now felt inhabited by a presence that had studied Earth signals long enough to reflect them with growing fluency. And learning is never an accident. Then, as suddenly as it began, everything went quiet. No more pulses. No more glows. No more trajectory shifts. Only the calm, steady drift of an interstellar traveler continuing its ancient path. In research labs around the world, scientists examined data with expressions hardened by awe rather than fear. No one spoke loudly. No one theorized recklessly. The weight of the phenomenon demanded reverence. Charts displayed the imitation of human signals. Graphs showed progression from noise to structure. Trajectories revealed adjustments too precise to dismiss. Yet no conclusion carried certainty. Some saw the behavior as curiosity. Others saw adaptation. A few saw intention. But all agreed on one truth. Something out there had recognized Earth. Something had interpreted the shape of a signal. Something had responded, not with language, but with structure. A reflection of understanding forming slowly in the dark. The universe did not feel empty anymore. It felt aware, contemplative, patient. 3I/Atlas drifted onward, disappearing into the vastness beyond the sun, its faint tail shimmering like a memory left behind for anyone willing to see. But the silence after its passing was no longer the silence that came before. It carried a subtle impression, a whisper of something unspoken yet undeniable. A presence had noticed the pulse sent from Earth. A presence had shaped energy around its architecture. A presence had responded. Not with words. Not with messages. With acknowledgement. A recognition born in the cold quiet of interstellar space, carried across unimaginable distances by a traveler older than the sun. The transmission had ended. The object had moved on. But the shift in the silence remained, echoing softly through the solar system like the first page of a story the universe had only just begun to reveal.